Back in August of 2021, I put out a video called 60 Days of Food for Under $250. And the whole goal was to give people something they could reach for in the sense of 60 days worth of food while still being on a budget. And in that video, I used Walmart as the price basis just to make sure everybody had access to the same food items because mostly we all have access to a Walmart somewhere, right? And I wanted to make sure the items were very simple. So I stuck with white rice, pinto beans, canned tuna, and canned chicken, which I am a canned chicken aficionado, in case you weren't aware, and that's just something you should know about if you haven't been on this channel before. And if you haven't been here before, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, because that way I can yell at you about hitting the subscribe button below on a regular basis. So, all of these items are much more expensive now than when I put out that video. And in fact, that video is now out of date. It no longer applies. You can't watch that video now and go buy those same things for $250 and get 60 days worth of food, which is why I wanted to kind of touch base on these items and talk about just how much more expensive they've become. We know eggs are the new hot commodity. We know they're going to be on the black market soon. We know all those things are happening, but this is still something you can get. It's still relatively affordable. And if you just started prepping right now, this is still a good way to go, but you should understand that you've missed out on quite a bit of food based on the calorie to dollar ratio. And unfortunately, that's what happens when we keep pumping the brakes on preparing. All of us who've been prepping for a while now are way further ahead without having to spend so much money. And this is a reminder as to why you want to actually just get motivated and take care of these things while you can, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about the food items here and talk about the price increases. And I'll tell you exactly how much the percentage increase in cost is. And it's kind of shocking, to be honest, because it's very, very high. It's definitely not within the CPI index numbers, okay? And like I said, white rice, dried pinto beans, canned tuna, canned chicken, these are great things to have. The two dry goods over here will last forever, 25 years or so if you store them properly. And the canned goods obviously can rotate through your rotational pantry to give you some protein and some sustenance and flavor during an SHTF or long-term survival scenario. So these are good things to have, even if we don't need them for emergencies. They can help keep you fed if you lose your job, go broke, or whatever it is, okay? And real quick, I do want to mention the channel is supported by Midway USA. Midway USA, they do all kinds of stuff. They even have food storage things and stuff like that too, but they support me here and they really are taking a risk because I'm a prepper channel. So I don't really know what they're thinking, but I appreciate them backing me and I appreciate them helping me move forward when it comes to being able to do more here on the channel. So anyway, first and foremost, 20-pound bags of white rice. Back when I made the video, I bought 2 of them for the video because they're very calorically dense and generally very budget friendly. And 20 pounds of white rice that are great value, which is the Walmart brand, back then were $8.98 a bag, 20 pounds, right? Now they're $10.97 a bag, all right? Well, let's move on to the pinto beans. I had 1 bag of pinto beans for that video, and I still have 1 bag showing right here. 20 pounds of pinto beans. Back then, they were $14.46, and now they're $14.94. So the pinto beans have actually stayed relatively the same price-wise. So when it comes to inflation, I guess beans are beating it right this second. Something to keep in mind, you might want to stock up on beans while you still have a chance because they really haven't gone up in price, and you won't be feeling the burn too bad if you just started prepping right now, okay? So, we all know how much I love canned chicken. And I did, in fact, clear my local Walmart out of this canned chicken back when I made that video, so just be aware of that. But canned chicken tastes good, good protein, high in calories for being a protein, right? Back then, in that video, I had 24 4-packs of canned chicken, okay? Back then, 1 4-pack was running $7.48. Now they're $9.98. It's a pretty substantial price increase, especially when you needed to buy 24 4-packs in order to get to 60 days worth of food and still be under $250, all right? That's the most substantial price increase actually on this list. So just be aware of that. We all know what's been going on with poultry and everything else, but it is something to consider, okay? Now, canned tuna was something I also supplemented on that list just to give a little bit of change when it came to the protein of choice because I wanted things to, taste good and keep it fresh once in a while, right? Well, canned tuna, a 4-pack back then was $2.84, and now it's $3.28, all right? So I did flash in a screenshot of the receipt from that original video showing those old prices, so I'm not just making this up. And no, I did not need to buy women's or girls' shoes for myself and whatever else you see on there, including the Cheetos. Don't judge me, just my Walmart receipt, okay? Relax. Either way, How much was the price increase? So back in that video, 60 days worth of food was $250. Actually, it was $246.02 to be exact, all right? Now, that same exact amount of food today will cost you $315.76. That's a pretty substantial price jump, okay? That's $69.74 more than it would have cost you back in August of 2021. And that's a 28% increase in cost. Now, I don't know about you, but 28% is a lot more than what everyone keeps talking about when they talk about the CPI, right? The Consumer Price Index. Nobody cares about what that number is. That number is not real, okay? You just make it up. It's an acronym. CPI, CSI, CVS. Nobody cares. This is what actually matters. 28% increase on very basic food items. We're talking about beans, rice, canned chicken, canned tuna. And like I said, the biggest jump in that inflation increase was the canned chicken. So, why did I make this video? Because the whole point is to remind you that we need to keep prepping, obviously, but we also need to take opportunity when we have it presented to us, okay? And so I made that video back in August of 2021 in the hopes that people will go out and get these items and put away 60 days worth of food for one person, for $250. I mean, that's not bad, especially when it's more than just rice and beans, right? Like you have $250 of canned chicken, canned tuna, and everything else related to things that taste good and add meat and protein to your diet. So just throwing that out there. But look, if you waited till now, that's still not the craziest number, right? $315.76 for 60 days worth of food. But because you waited until now, you wasted $69.74. And that's a 28% increase in cost. And that's a really, really big jump. So I wanted to make this message to kind of just remind everybody why this is so important and why we got to do it while we can and when the opportunity is there. And if you just started prepping, I'm glad you're here and you should be doing what you can. And even so, that $315.76 is still money well spent because food is going to help you survive no matter what happens. Even if it's just economic collapse and all of us are just broke waiting in bread lines trying to get food, well, you might not have to wait in bread lines for as long as some other people might, right? So just keep all that stuff in mind because either way, it's going to be beneficial, but by waiting and waiting and waiting, you're playing a losing game. So do what you can now and get motivated to make things happen. Without anything else to say about it, it's going to be it for Magic Prepper.